Hello! Today I am doing an entire spread of just different cottagecore images. So this actually started off with it's on the other page, but it's a simple picture of a cottage, and I was going to just do like a flat type of cottage painting, and then I was like, I really like the cottagecore aesthetic. I kind of want to do an entire cottagecore spread. So that's what I'm doing. So I started off with this little stone well, and I actually really love how that came out. It might be one of my favorites. So I did this entire spread with Himi Gouache and colored pencils. So I went in first with the Himi Gouache. I didn't start using the colored pencil until this piece. I don't believe I used it on the well at all. But I really liked the effect that it gave with the thicker gouache. Whenever I was a little bit too thick with it, the colored pencil didn't go over the best, but I still really like the effect it gave because these are all really small kind of sketches, and I found that I don't have brushes small enough to get the detail that I wanted to, and colored pencil seemed like the perfect little tool to, yeah. So, see this right here? You know why I'm missing all that footage? Because my hand was in the way and blurry the entire time. My hand kept being the focus of my camera, and I didn't notice until I went to edit the footage, and it's all blurry. So anyway, I started with the strawberry basket, which is probably my least favorite, and it was a pain in the neck. I could not get the basket texture right. I couldn't get the strawberries right. Nothing about this piece came out the way that I wanted it to, except for that back little row of, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but on the back. This piece gave me issues, and I really like this, but then I went over it trying to get some highlights in there, and I ruined it. So it gets better, but it takes a while. It takes a lot of going downhill. And then the strawberries, they were okay. The shapes were a little bit funky, and I couldn't get the dimensions right. And then I went in with this colored pencil, and it didn't help. I would like to say that it helped. It didn't help. The only thing that helped was the little dots that I did later that only made it semi look like a strawberry and not just a red blob. It was so bad. I like the leaves though. I did the leaves well enough, but everything else about this basket was kind of just rough. And it just goes on and on and on and on because it took forever and I still couldn't get right. I don't know what happened. It was disappointing because I have never been able to draw a nice looking strawberry. I don't know why they're so hard, but they are. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's not. Strawberries are a pain and they're difficult, and I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, let's just move on to the beet. Actually, I lied. This is my favorite piece. When I go in on the leaves, I did so good because usually I'm not that good with like getting the shapes of leaves with the shading and everything. I'm okay, but I'm not the best. But in this piece specifically, I am very proud of it. So I just went in with a very light watercolor consistency of gouache, and then I went in with the colored pencils. And the colored pencils are what just made this thing pop. So I went in with all my greens and a little bit of yellow, but I didn't show the yellow because you couldn't even see the yellow. But yeah, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Look at that. The shading, the gradient, it was so smooth. Goodness gracious. So while I'm doing these beautiful beet leaves, and you get the pleasure of watching these turn into the most beautiful leaves I've ever done, let me tell you about a little link in my description that I have. It's for Book of the Month. Basically, it's a monthly subscription, and they have a collection of books each month, and you get to choose one of the books, and if you don't like any of the books they have, you can just skip it, which is great. But if you use the link that's in my description, you can get your first book for only $5, which they're hardcover books. And a lot of them are like debut books and they're hardcover and they're nice. And the book I just got is called Age of Vice, and it's based in New Delhi in India. And it's a really good book. It is so good. It's so interesting. And I really enjoy reading it. So yeah, that book is selling for $30 right now, and I got it for $16. So I basically got the book for half off for a hardcover 400 plus page debut novel. That's really good. Tell me that's not good. Anyway, here I am doing a window. So I'm going in, I'm adding a little lavender, and then that's supposed to be kind of like rose, but like I said, it's so small. This painting is so small, so I'm trying to get in these tiny little details to not make it look like crap. But I am just trying. I'm trying. The main focus was just to know that it's a windowsill looking out at like a pretty thing, like garden, I guess. I mean, it's not exactly a garden, but it's not a garden. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of greenery. And I just went in and I really like this also. I ended up smoothing out that terrible blending on the windowsill because it is horrid. And I smooth that out later, which it gets a little bit better than this. I fix it a little bit more. But yeah. And then this little pot or vase of picked flowers I really enjoyed, and then I had to step away from it because it was too wet and I couldn't add more flowers. So you're only going to see part of this clothesline painting because I switched to the duck because I was waiting for it to dry. So when I think of cottagecore, I think of clotheslines with cute frilly little things. So anyway, I switched to duck, and I usually do really well on ducks. This duck is mediocre. So since I was using gouache, I did an extra dark shade of shadow, and then I went over it again with white. But this is one of those ones where the paint just kind of got too thick once I added all the layers. But I forgot to record the ending. So we switched to the cottage that started it all. I saw this and then I sketched it and I was like, what else am I going to put on this spread? And I thought I was just going to do 2 separate pages, but then I was like, well, I kind of sketched it small. I want to do an entire cottagecore spread because, listen, if I could live in a cottage, in a meadow, with just my art supplies, my family, and books, I would have the best life. I would never complain a day in my life. That would be the ideal life goal, is to just have a cottage in a meadow and with glass milk cartons that got delivered. That is the dream. But I will not have that probably until I retire. So, it's okay. It's okay to dream. But that's my ideal life. And then I wanted to do kind of just like a simple sort of style, kind of like Mira Byler's folklore type of just flat painting, which I think I succeeded in doing, but it's not my favorite because I do a lot of house and building paintings, and this is the first time doing like a flat type of painting, and it's not my favorite. So anyway, I finished that and I moved back to the clothesline because I was nervous, because usually I can't get the folds of material very well, but with this yellow dress, I think I did phenomenal. I have never done this good with folds in fabric ever. And I was so proud of it, and I didn't record half the process. I just, but I love it. I love the highlights. I love the shadows. I love the folds at the bottom. And then this dress was just like, it was lace with like a weird sort of like just white and black splotches. And it was hard to paint. And then this one, the pink one, I know it looks weird and it looks like, wow, you really screwed up that outfit. I didn't. It's how that thing looks in real life. I mean, the lines and the shading were a little bit rough, but that's how it looks like in real life, I swear. And then I moved on to this little teacup, but the reference was like one of those white teacups with the florals on it. but I didn't feel like doing white on the super white paper of like the Illo sketchbook. I didn't feel like doing all that, so I just took this color that I never get to use in my gouache set, and I went in, and then I did like a little goldish, bronzish handle, which kind of makes me think of 2010 or 2012, how I had like teal and gold everything as a kid, but it's fine. I don't know. It made me think of like my early teen high school years. So anyway, here's the whole spread, and I am in love with the entire spread. This is my favorite sketchbook spread ever. Thank you so much for watching, because this was a longer video, but thank you.